right amount of indignation. It's time to get wasted with IntoxiNarration. I'm drunk. Let's start the show.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, that was fucking stupid.
Oh my god, we're gonna have a 5th movie, right? Right? No! Because this killed the Batman franchise for like 6 years, right? It was this and then Batman Begins. They put a bat embargo on Justice League because of this movie. Like, oh. It just...
Jeb Swenson.
Swenson. No one remembers him.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is the first name on there.
Michael Gough was a decent Alfred. It just sucks that his last movie as Alfred was so shitty.
His last movie was,
Senator Patrick Leahy? Are you fucking kidding me? Wow.
What was he?
A real senator who's still a senator?
Oh my god. Sleepy Hollow. That was Mr. Go's last movie.
I forgot about that. I kind of like that movie.
I love that
if
movie.
you
I did like
If
that
you pay
movie.
attention to it and you watch Hammer horror movies, like the Dracula movies, I've got those like on DVD. It's very similar to those. Very bright red blood, lots of gore, kind of cheesy but kind of fun plot elements while being very dark at the same time.
It's cheesy, but it's not stupid cheesy.
Yeah, it seems to be on purpose. I love Sleepy Hollow. I like the new show, but in a different way. It's serious.
I still haven't seen the show.
It's serious, but I like how they mix it with Revolutionary War historical events. It's not bad, it's just so different from that movie. And then there's a Sleepy Hollow Disney movie. You remember that? Ichabod Crane has a big old nose.
Yeah.
And he's kind of an asshole.
I barely remember it, but I do remember when,
What?
Jeff Goldblum was Ichabod Crane. Do you remember that one?
No, what was that?
Yes, we need to look that up. Jeff Goldblum.
Don't look it up. It's the show still.
Crane.
When was Jeff Goldblum Ichabod Crane?
It was like 80s. Had to be 80s, early 90s.
Really?
Yeah. Jeff Goldblum was Ichabod Crane.
I didn't even know that.
Batmobile, Freezemobile, Redbird,
Bathammer,
Batskiff, Batcycle by TFX. Good job, guys.
All toys. All toys. This movie and episode 1 are the quintessential, we made this movie to sell fucking toys.
Good job to everyone on this piece of shit. Good job.
CGI animator.
You guys are embarrassed.
Like the CGI, like when it was hardcore CG.
It was just one guy.
Yeah, it was. It doesn't surprise me. It was shitty. Like, you could tell. Like, as much as I'll shit on episode 1, at least the CG was okay in that movie. By today's standards even. It was amazing for back then, but the story was shit. Like, everything about it except for the CG, the Darth Maul fight and the pod race was just shit. But Jar Jar, you don't even need to mention the Jar Jar Binks anymore because everyone knows that Jar Jar Binks was shit. Like, it's just sort of this unspoken thing. When you talk about Star Wars Episode 1, you don't have to talk about Jar Jar Binks because everybody knows about Jar Jar Binks. Holy shit. I have the Batman Forever soundtrack.
Ding, ding, ding.
As a kid, you really liked Batman Forever, but this movie, on the other hand,
was a piece of shit.
Like, you knew even as a kid that this movie was awful. Oh, I'll go to Warner Sunset Records, and I'll shit on this record. Lazy Eye. This is a song by Poison Ivy. Nice job, guys. Snow Miser. Thanks, City of Los Angeles. Just, wow. Well, everybody, you've now experienced Batman and Robin with us. Holy fucking shit. I personally hadn't seen it in at least 8 years, and it's way worse than I remember. Just, other than the Alfred Bruce stuff, it's just complete shit. It's just complete and utter shit. And it's no wonder it destroyed people's acting careers. It destroyed the Batman franchise for 5 or 6 years straight. And deservingly so. So, I'm going to wait for 3Dozer to get back. And I'm probably going to edit this part out and then have him get back. And we're going to talk a little bit about the movie and just... Hey, 3Dos! I'm going to edit some of this out so we can just kind of talk about the movie. Alright, so Crimson's kind of asleep, and that's okay because she got way drunker than we did, I feel like. Take that Jello shot. Take this shot before we talk about this.
Okay.
Alright. Deadly Kiss Jello shots made by her, and she was awesome. She drank too much of them, though.
Jump to scene, jump out of a fucking plane.
Yeah.
This movie sucks.
We're looking at the DVD menu, and it's like full screen for some reason. So, what was Joel Schumacher thinking when he made this movie? Like, what would be going through his mind when he finished editing this?
Bat nipples.
Bat nipples?
Bat
Was
nipples.
he just trying to
It was
sell...
centered around nipples.
Was it just around toy cells? Was it like, oh, Batman Forever was like lighter?
It would have had to be. How many?
You had all the vehicles.
Just the
you
stupid
had
vehicles.
all the outfits. They had multiple outfits for every character, except for Mr. Freeze. And you took one of the goofiest characters ever, Mr. Freeze, and then Batman the Animated Series made him one of the cool, no pun intended, really neat, cool, sympathetic, tragic characters of the Batman universe, which they incorporated all into the comics. And he took a thread of that story, stuck it in this piece of shit, and just fucked it up.
And his suit was simple. I mean, it didn't need to glow in the dark. It didn't need to fucking.
It looked like they took a scuba suit and just sort of adopted it.
And his face was hanging out. His face wasn't covered the
And
entire
it
time.
would be
It was in
heated.
a glass. In the animated series, in a glass.
And when Batman broke that glass, it dropped him to the ground instantly.
And he can somehow be okay with the whole front of his face out. I fucking don't get it. I do not understand. The costume design.
I don't feel like any, other than Alicia Silverstone and maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't feel like the casting was that bad in this movie.
Wasn't.
I feel like I was like, oh, George Clooney's old and blah, blah, blah. I look at this movie, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he was actually young at one time. And he looked pretty good as Bruce Wayne. He looks like a good Bruce Wayne. Not a great Batman, but maybe with better
Especially
direction.
now with him being written into this dumb shit, a public event, going to a public event, saying,
Batman.
on a microphone, I vote for
$1 million for this
no
bitch.
How could you not know he's Bruce Wayne after just that scene?
It's like, hey guys, I've got $1 million. I got $3 million in this bat fucking credit card. I'm not Bruce Wayne.
And this other asshole, I'll borrow it from you. Who could he borrow $3 million from?
He's like, hey Bruce, I'm in a competition with you to fuck this bitch. By the way, I won that competition because I outbid you with your own money. Which makes no sense.
I'll borrow it from you.
Like, the premise is awful, but then the execution is doubly awful. You could just, like, oh, well, we're going to accept the concept that they're bidding against each other for Uma Thurman's vagina, but Robin's going to borrow money from Batman if he happens to outbid him. There's no way you could outbid him because you're going to borrow that money from the guy that he's trying to outbid. No sense whatsoever.
It's got a back signal behind Robin. I like that.
And the
I
DVD
love
menu,
that.
yeah.
I love the bat signal behind Robin with the red.
I just like I said, every half an hour you feel like, wow, this might have maybe been a good movie if you got a different. I have seen Arnold in this stuff that I really like. I love Terminator 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time, maybe my favorite movie of all time. So I'm not gonna rip on Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I feel he's completely wrong for Mr. Freeze. You recasted Mr. Freeze. You got Alicia Silverstone out of Batgirl. Maybe she could have been okay with different direction, but I honestly don't even know at this point. Uma Thurman could have been a great Poison Ivy. She was okay with what she was given.
She was seductive. She's got that personality in all of her movies. She's just sexy.
Yeah.
And the lines were just horrible.
Yeah.
They were just written horrible.
Like, you could have took this idea, maybe taking Mr. Freeze out of it completely. I don't know if you needed both villains in it. Because look at all the Dark Knight movies. Any villain who's secondary to the main villain is just sidelined almost. The Scarecrow, sidelined. Two-Face in the second movie, though portrayed great by Aaron Eckhart. I think Heath Ledger does a great job. I think Aaron Eckhart gets way too little credit for being an amazing Two-Face. I can't believe how good of a Two-Face he was.
He brought out that whole character in just the few scenes he was in.
But he even got sidelined because he was only at the very end. He was a great Harvey Dent. And then in Dark Knight Rises, Talia al Ghul was just not Talia al Ghul, and I hate that she was. Like, I like the Dark Knight trilogy. Even Dark Knight Rises, a lot of people just call a movie or they don't like it very much. I still like 80-85% of that movie, but Talia al Ghul, either you do her right or you don't put her in the movie. You just say, hey, why couldn't Bane be the mastermind of everything that happened? He didn't even have to be Ra's al Ghul's son. He could have just have been the mastermind of all this, a heir to the League of Shadows, and then did everything. Batman beat him fair and square in a fight, and you didn't even have to have all the stabby stuff in it with Talia al Ghul. I didn't need to be in there.
It was forced. It felt forced. Talia al Ghul felt forced in there. Like, they wanted a major twist.
They wanted to connect it up with Ra's al Ghul in the first
Yeah.
movie, and it didn't work.
They forced it. And obviously everybody fucking hates it.
I don't hate The Dark Knight Rises. Up until that part where Talia stabs him, I'm loving that movie. Even the medical weird stuff, like he has a spinal column that's out of place. I don't care. I love seeing him work his way back up from being just destroyed by Bane and trying to climb up out of the shithole of the third world prison. I love all of that. And Scarecrow being the judge of everybody. And then Talia al Ghul comes in, and it just sort of like makes... And it's not just that. And then you have like Alfred doesn't know Batman's alive, and that feels really shitty that he wouldn't even like give him a clue. And I guess he did at the end, but it feels like...
Well, it feels like Bane... They made it like Bane was insignificant. Like everything...
he was a little bitch.
Everything Bane did was just nothing. It was just... I'm just following orders,
Because he was supposed to be this badass. Like, he broke that CEO's neck who was trying to control him. He was like, you don't control me. And then killed his henchman. And he just was this fucking badass from beginning until he got beat by Batman. And he was supposed to be just broken by Batman. And then Catwoman shoots him. It's just... It sucks that that movie's like 85% amazing and then 15% like meh. It's you can't get too mad at it when you look at something like Batman or Robin. That's shit for like 95%. Like there's the only redeeming traits about Batman or Robin are the little bit of character development between Bruce and Alfred, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And that's it. There's nothing else about that movie. At least Batgirl's shoehorned in. Even both of the villains aren't even necessarily shoehorned in. They're just awfully portrayed. Like they did try to kind of develop Poison Ivy's character at the beginning. It just was poorly written. Like from this just shit. What's that? Want the rest of that Jello shot? I don't know. That might be a little gay. I don't care. So yeah, now we discussed Batman movies for a while. That's really it for the IntoxiNarration episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching a shitty movie. Next time we should be doing Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. And we'll be drinking a shit ton of rum and watching that movie, which isn't a shitty movie for once. And we'll be doing this for once a month for the rest of the year. So you guys stay tuned for us being drunk as shit. Completely fucking sloshed to where we pass out or laugh uncontrollably or puke and spit in this cup, because that's what I did. It is gross, but that's what I did. That's what happened. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll see all of you fucking nerds later. Alright, you fucking nerds. Our new show, IntoxiNarration.